welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not digging through the usual reports or papers.
No, not this time.
Instead, we're jumping headfirst into a really unique source. Craig Hinton's 1996 Doctor Who novel, GodEngine.
Which reads much more like an adventure story, honestly.
Totally. So our mission today is to pull out the key insights from this novel. We're talking complex interplanetary conflicts, some pretty surprising technologies, and these enduring themes of prejudice and redemption.
And it's all centered on Mars, right? In the year 2157, a very specific, war-torn Mars.
Exactly.
So our deep dive, it's going to navigate this grim future where Earth has, well, it's already fallen to this mysterious alien force.
Spoilers, it's
Right.
the Daleks.
Right, the Daleks. And Mars becomes this critical battleground. But it's not just species versus species. There's conflict within species, too. We'll explore hidden histories, time travel paradoxes, the really tricky stuff, and that thin line between prophecy and stepping in.
It makes you ask that question, doesn't it? When does what if just become, well, what was always going to happen?
Precisely.
Yeah. And what I think is really striking about this source is how it weaves together these huge, like, galactic-scale conflicts with really intimate personal struggles.
You've got stranded time travelers, conflicted alien leaders.
Right. And you see how their stories cross over and create this intricate picture of the future.
Mhm.
It's bleak, definitely bleak, but also kind of hopeful in the Han reprising ways.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
So the year is 2157, and the situation is pretty dire. Earth has already fallen. The enemy is this black fleet.
Which, as you said, we learned pretty quickly are the Daleks.
Yep. And this isn't their first rodeo.
Yeah.
They've wiped out 14 other colonies already. Places like Sifranos just turned into, the book says, sterilized cinders.
Trim stuff.
And Mars is next on the list, caught right in the middle of this galactic war.
And their strategy here is quite sophisticated. Chilling, even. The Daleks set up this massive subspace blockade, covers the whole solar system.
How does that even work?
Well, it's generated by something called a strange ichron generator on Mercury. These strange ichrons, think of them as like exotic energy particles. They don't harm organic life directly, but the text says they have a most deleterious effect on starship jump engines. Basically, any ship trying to jump into or out of subspace near them just boom, explodes.
Oh, so it's like an energy minefield for hyperspace travel.
Exactly. A very effective way to lock down the system. No reinforcements, no escape.
And this blockade is what directly pulls our main characters into the mess. The Doctor and his companion, Roz Forrester, they just suddenly appear on Mars.
Not exactly a planned arrival.
Not at all. Their time machine, the TARDIS, is, quote, totally, utterly destroyed, which for the Doctor is catastrophic. That's not just his ship, it's his home, his oldest friend, basically.
Yeah, the TARDIS going down is a huge deal. And the cause is this incredibly rare, like, double cosmic whammy.
Right, what was it? A subspace infarction?
Which is kind of like a sudden blockage, a clot in hyperspace.
Okay, and a vortex rupture?
A tear in space-time itself. The Doctor figures the infarction might have been caused by humans trying to break the Dalek blockade, desperately pushing against it.
Makes sense.
And the rupture, he thinks, was triggered near the Martian North Pole. So it's this dangerous mix of human actions and maybe something else going on at the pole.
The Doctor's reaction is interesting. He's described as having this icy tone, this detachment. Very unlike him.
Yeah, it really shows the depth of the loss he's shut down.
And Roz, she's this combat-trained adjudicator from the 30th century. She's just trying to cope with his silence and this brutal Martian environment. Their plan, get to Jacksonville.
Which is a human colony at Olympus Mons.
Thousands of kilometers away. Roz calls it lunacy.
Understandable given they have new ship, limited supplies.
Right. And what's fascinating is the Doctor seems to know Mars like the back of his hand, even this far back in its history. He knows where ancient cities are, hidden tunnels.
But he's not sharing much, is he? He's cagey about it.
Very. Which leads you to wonder, why?
Yeah.
Is he trying to protect the timeline? Or is it just him being, well, the Doctor?
A bit of both, probably. Always playing his cards close to his chest.
Okay, so while the Doctor and Roz are stranded, let's switch to Chris Quedge, their other companion.
Right, he got separated. Where did he end up?
Charon. Pluto's moon, same year, 2157. The book is very precise. 11:35 a.m.
Charon. Not a good place to be. It's basically marked for death, historically speaking. Destined to become a radioactive cinder, thanks to Dalek nukes.
So Chris realizes immediately he's landed smack dab in the middle of a historical disaster zone.
Talk about bad timing.
He meets these human scientists there, Rachel Anders and Felice Delacoy. They're working on something called a stunnel.
A stunnel, like a stable tunnel. Or
It's sort of like a matter transmitter, yeah. An instant travel tunnel they hope can bypass the Dalek blockade.
Okay, so Chris is there. He knows Sharon is doomed. He knows about the Daleks. What does he do? That's the classic time traveler problem, isn't it?
Exactly. How much does he tell them? Does he try to save them, even though history says they die? The stakes are incredibly high. Any intervention could change everything.
A real ethical minefield for him.
Meanwhile, back on Mars, there's this human expedition from Jacksonville. They're heading to the North Pole looking for supplies.
Led by Anthony McGuire, right?
Yep. And his team includes Christina Madrigal, a veteran Marine type, Carmen Santacosta, who seems like this very timid singer, and Professor Vincente Esteban, who's really into Martian history.
And this group is, let's just say, not exactly harmonious.
No kidding. McGuire has this intense hatred for Martians. He blames them for his family dying in the Montreal monorail bombing.
But that's the tragic irony, isn't it? It wasn't the Martians, it was human terrorists, the Martian Axis, pretending to be Martians.
Right. He's been hating the wrong people for years. And on top of that, the team notices something weird, this strange electromagnetic buildup over the northern hemisphere. A monopolar field, the book calls it.
Single pole magnetic field.
Yeah?
That sounds unnatural. And the doctor finds this alarming.
Very. He connects it straight to the Daleks, and also, chillingly, to whatever ripped the TARDIS apart. Something big is happening at the North Pole.
Okay, so multiple threads converging on the pole. Interesting.
So with the Daleks closing in, the Doctor and Roz have to go underground, literally. They use Mars's ancient tunnel network.
Which is apparently vast. Circumnavigated the whole of Mars, built with sonic technology, advanced stuff.
Totally. They end up in this place called Iket Salith, the City of the Sad Ones. It looks abandoned, stunningly beautiful architecture.
But it's a trap, right? The Gudgeratly is the lure for the unfamiliar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A very Martian welcome. Which brings us to their culture.
Yeah, the novel paints them as this species of, well, contradictions. They love beauty and aesthetics. Their cities are art.
But they also have this deep-rooted passion for warfare.
The carvings in the city show it all.
Yeah.
Civil war, germ warfare, bacteriological backlash, and this thing called the execution of the 8-point table.
Which sounds like maybe their ruling council got wiped out. A total reset.
It raises that fascinating question. How does a species hold those two extremes, incredible artistry and brutal warfare at the same time? What does that say about them?
While they're navigating this, they run into actual Martians, a group of pilgrims.
Ah, yes, Abbot Aklar, the leader. Seems wise, spiritual, leads this pacifist order of Horus.
Then there's Cleese, who's clearly a warrior type, very aggressive. Estar, who's betrothed to Cleese but loves Stahl. And Stahl himself, who's young, nervous, very devout.
And their pilgrimage is heading to the Cauldron of Sutekh at the North Pole. Supposedly, it's about their commitment to peace after this big conflict, the Thousand-Day War.
Yeah, that war led most Martians to leave Mars for Nova Martia. These guys are, theoretically, the peaceful remnant.
But the doctor's not buying it, is he? He starts distrusting Aklar pretty quickly.
Right. Why would a pacifist group need a sonic disruptor? And why are they carrying the Sword of Tuber?
Which is described as a legendary symbol of the Martian military ethic. Not exactly a peace pipe.
Exactly. It screams hidden agenda.
And the doctor's instincts are spot on, because the real player behind all this is Supreme Grand Marshal Falixer Helat.
One of only 2 survivors from that 8-point table execution.
Right. And for 70 years, he's been secretly working to reactivate the GodEngine.
Okay, the GodEngine. This sounds important.
Oh, it is. It's this ancient Osirian weapon, a stellar power relay at the Martian North Pole, originally used thousands of years ago to enslave the entity Sutekh.
Wow. Osirian tech. Sutekh. That connects to some deep lore.
Absolutely. This thing can take out entire moons, apparently. But it's old, powerful, and crucially unreliable.
And Felixir wants to use it. How?
Either as a bargaining chip with the Daleks, help us, or we unleash this, or if that fails, just point it at Earth and, well,
destroy it.
Yeah.
That explains the weird energy readings at the pole. It's the GodEngine powering up.
Exactly. And Falixer's manipulation runs deep. He deliberately tipped off the Daleks about the human base on Sharon.
To trigger the attack.
Yeah. So that when the scientists, Rachel and Felice, tried to escape, he could use the GodEngine as a powerful subspace attractor to literally pull their escaping vessel to Mars.
He needed their expertise in subspace technology to help fix the GodEngine. That's devious.
Extremely. And their fate, if he gets his way, is horrifying. The brain rack.
Ugh, sounds awful.
It is. A Martian device designed to basically rewire human minds, create artificial neural pathways to ensure obedience. Total mind control. That's what awaits Rachel and Felice.
Okay, the plot is seriously thickening now. Let's talk about some hidden identities.
Yeah.
Carmen Santacosta, the timid singer.
Not so timid, turns out.
Not at all.
Yeah.
She's actually adjudicator Carmen Santacosta Oberon special operative
Yeah.
from the 22nd century, an undercover agent.
And she killed Professor Esteban, the Martian enthusiast.
Yes, believing he was a Martian Axis sympathizer. She infiltrated McGuire's team specifically to investigate those subspace emissions at the pole. Her mission. Grab the GodEngine for Earth's resistance.
Wow. Layers upon layers of deception. Her whole persona was a front. Her communicator, her fighting style.
Which Roz recognizes, right? Being a 30th century adjudicator herself, she spots the high shoes defense and Hertz gang maneuver.
Exactly. It just highlights how murky everything is. Alliances, identities, everything shifts in wartime.
And the betrayals keep coming. Abbot Aklar, the wise pacifist leader.
Let me guess. Not so wise or pacifist.
Bingo. He's actually Abrassar, the infamous butcher of Vias Clare from the Thousand-Day War, a notorious war criminal.
Oh, well, what did he do?
Lured 15,000 human soldiers into a death trap. Philaxer, his old war buddy, orchestrated this whole pilgrimage just to get Abrassar and that symbolic sword of Tuber to the GodEngine.
So the pilgrimage was a complete sham, just a way to get the players in position.
Yep. And then Cleese, the aggressive Martian pilgrim, he sees which way the wind is blowing and betrays Aklar to join Faxer. Power recognizes power, I guess.
You know, the doctor saw through Aklar, didn't he? He had that quote.
Yeah, I just don't trust them. One day, far in the future, they will become valuable members of the Galactic Federation. But now, in the 22nd century, they have just lost a futile and pointless war with mankind.
It's such a sharp insight. And it connects back to McGuire's prejudice, too, based on lies, on misinformation. The real interesting bit here is how facing the truth, even an ugly truth like Aklar's past, can actually lead to understanding. Or, in McGuire's case, realizing he hated the wrong enemy.
Yeah, that potential for redemption, even amidst all this darkness, is powerful. Okay, let's get to the climax. The battle for the GodEngine. History itself might hang in the balance.
Chris Quadge steps up big time here.
He does. Uses all his adjudicator-geared nose filters, gas bombs, this biocybernetic feedback scrambler thing.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, and his knowledge of subversive warfare. He creates this massive diversion all through the Martian base. Knocks out communications, power. The book says his tactics were almost too effective. Single drops had been overkill.
So he's causing chaos. What's his main goal?
To rescue Rachel and Felice from the brain rack.
Which requires something drastic, right?
Yeah. He has to perform electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, on them. The book calls it barbaric, but it's the only way he sees to break the Martian mind control quickly. A terrible choice to have to make.
Wow. Meanwhile, the doctor's got his own plan. He's retrieved the divine side of Horus.
An Osirian star sapphire.
And the transit web nucleus. Key components, presumably.
Right. As all this is happening, Aklar confronts Philaxer, challenges him to a blood duel for the future of Mars.
A very Martian way to settle things.
And just then, the GodEngine kicks into full gear. Over 30 gigantic gold and silver pyramids erupt from the North Pole ice. That's the external emitter array. Terrifying sight.
So the weapon is active. What does the doctor do?
He uses the sapphire and the nucleus together. Not to fire the weapon, but to make it malfunction. Deliberately.
Ow.
He floods subspace with all manner of exotic particles, specifically chosen to mess with the Dalek blockade further up the chain. But it also creates a feedback cascade in the GodEngine's power source.
Ah, turning its own power against it. Classic doctor.
Exactly. It overloads, leading to its destruction.
And then comes that really iconic bit.
Oh, yeah. The ghost of the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
These phantom blue shapes, hundreds of them, spectral TARDISes converging on the exploding GodEngine.
It's like the TARDIS's essence, drawn to this massive temporal spatial event.
And through this convergence, somehow, the Doctor's own TARDIS is reborn, comes back. It's this moment of incredible hope for Roz and Chris, a sense of wholeness returning.
While downstairs, the Daleks see Philaxer's plan has gone up in smoke. Literally.
And they just vaporize his ship.
Mm.
No hesitation, pure Dalek ruthlessness, project failed, eliminate.
A stark reminder of who they're really up against.
So the dust settles. What's the immediate fallout?
Well, some personal scores are settled tragically. Dran's another Martian is killed by Cleese, but then Stahl, the nervous young pilgrim, kills Cleese.
Wow, Stahl steps up.
He does. And crucially, Anthony McGuire has his moment of clarity. He realizes, quote, he'd spent 5 years of his life hating the wrong enemy. He actually finds common ground and understanding with Stahl.
That's huge for him, a real shedding of that old hatred.
And it paves the way for a new Martian future, potentially. Stahl and Estar, they embrace the pacifist wisdom of auras. They become the new leaders, the abbots of this Martian seminary.
Pledging to raise their kids, their clutchlings, in peace. On Mars.
It's a massive shift, a conscious move away from the warrior past that Phylexer and Abrasar represented, a chance for societal healing, maybe.
And what about the humans, Rachel and Felice?
They're recovered, thanks to Chris. And importantly, through their forced work on the GodEngine, they've gained critical knowledge, insights into its workings, into subspace.
Knowledge they can use against the Daleks.
Exactly. The novel suggests this knowledge gives humanity a real shot at figuring out how to break the blockade and free Earth. A direct positive outcome from all the chaos.
Which brings us back to the Doctor and time travel. He let Chris save the Terran colonists, right? Even though history said they died.
Yeah, and his explanation is typically cryptic but profound. Everything happened as it was meant to.
So, saving them was part of how things were supposed to go, even though it contradicts the records.
That seems to be the implication. The insight here is that the web of time might be more complex, more resilient, or maybe just different than simple records suggest. Perhaps the Doctor's interventions aren't breaking history, but ensuring the correct history unfolds, preventing even worse paradoxes or outcomes.
So saving those lives was necessary for something else.
Possibly. Necessary to prevent Phylexer's plan succeeding, or maybe for the knowledge Rachel and Felice gained, or for the TARDIS's rebirth. It suggests causality is less a straight line and more, well, a web. Certain anomalies might actually be stabilizing factors in the grand scheme.
My head hurts.
It's meant to. That's the nature of time travel narratives like this.
And then the TARDIS is back, which must be such a relief for Roz and Chris. That sense of completeness returns.
But the Doctor, he's still enigmatic about it. Doesn't really explain the mechanics of the destruction and rebirth.
Just says it was the result of the disruption of future history, which would have happened if Phylexer's plan to destroy Jacksonville had happened without my interference.
Which basically confirms he did interfere significantly to prevent a worse future. It reinforces that idea of him as this cosmic corrector, operating on a level we can barely grasp. Even losing and regaining his TARDIS is part of that larger battle to keep causality, or at least a preferred version of it, intact.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive into GodEngine really show us? What's the takeaway for you, the listener?
Well, I think first off, it shows history is messy, right? It's full of secrets, hidden agendas, personal tragedies that shape the bigger picture. It's rarely simple.
Definitely. And we've seen how deep-seated prejudice, like McGuire's, often comes from lies or lack of context, but also how confronting the truth can lead to real change, real understanding.
Absolutely. And also just the sheer resilience of people, human and Martian, when things get really desperate. The unexpected alliances, the capacity for both terrible acts and surprising redemption.
Yeah. And maybe the most mind-bending part is about time itself. If the Doctor can step in, change events, save people history, Simzed died. How fixed is anything, really?
Does it mean our own future isn't set in stone? How much influence do our choices have?
Right. And that leads to the big question, I think. If history can be rewritten, or at least nudged onto a different track by interventions and individual choices.
And what does that mean for the choices we make today? How do our actions ripple outwards, shaping not just our own lives, but maybe the bigger story unfolding around us?
Something to definitely think about.
A thought to mull over, yeah. Long after this deep dive is done.